Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
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 Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana
Shodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Sodanandana Braja Janaranjana
Shodanandana Brajanaranjana
Sodanandana Braja Janaranjana
Shodanandana Brajanaranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Sodanandana Braja Janaranjana
Shodanandana Brajanaranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Madhava Kunja Vihari
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Radha Jamasundara, Radha Jamasundara, Radhe.
Jaya Radha, Shama Sundara, Radha Shama Sundara.
Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jai Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Devam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivraj Kaja Rashtrottara Satasya Srimati Juven के जैसी भक्त वेदांत स्वामी शुभपाद की जाए। एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज काज राष्ट्रोत्तर सतश्री श्रीमती जुबैन के शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जाए। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नमाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवोदय मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगामय यमुनामयी की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। निताय गो प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि गो। All glories to assemble devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assemble devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assemble devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Shri Prabhupada की जय। विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण पेष्टाय भूतरे श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नाम नमस्ते सारस्वत देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारण निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पंचामृत देस्तारिणे। Krishna, thank you for joining. Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized, verse number 17 and 18 today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir-bhavati-naistiki. Hari Om Tat Sat. Chapter 2, verse number 17 first. Avinasi tu tadviddhi yena sarvam idam tatam.
अविनाशी तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वम् इदं ततम्
Vinasam avyayasya vinasam avyayasya na kaschit kartum arhati.
विनाशम् अव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुम् अर्हति
अविनाशु तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततम्।
अविनाशी तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वम् इदं ततम्
विनाशम् अव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति।
विनाशम् अव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुम् अर्हति
अविनाशु तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततम्।
अविनाशी तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वम् इदं ततम्
विनाशम् अपि यस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुम् अर्हति.
विनाशम् अव्ययस्यास्य कश्चित् कर्तुम् अर्हति.
Word to word. Avinasi,
अविनाशी,
imperishable.
imperishable.
Tu, but, tat, that, vidhi, no, know it. Ena, by whom, sarvam, all of the body, idam, this, tatam, pervaded, vinasam, destruction, avyayasya, yeah, of the imperishable, asya, of it, na kaschit, no one, kartum, to do, arahati, is able. Translation by the Divine Grace says Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. That which pervades the entire body.
That which pervades the entire body.
You should know to be indestructible.
You should know to be indestructible.
No one is able to destroy.
No one is able to destroy
that imperishable soul.
That imperishable soul.
Verse number 18. अंतवंत इमे देहा नित्यस्योक्ता शरीरिणः
अंतवंत इमे देहा नित्यस्योक्ताः शरीरिणः
अनासीनो अप्रमेयस्य तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत
अनाशीनो अप्रमेयस्य तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत
अंतवंत इमे देहा नित्यस्य उक्ता शरीरिणः
अंतवंत इमे देहा नित्यस्योक्ताः शरीरिणः
अनासीनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत
अनाशीनो अप्रमेयस्य तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत
अंतवंत perishable ime all these deha material bodies nityasya eternal in existence ukta are said sharirina of the embodied soul anasina never to be destroyed aprameyasya immeasurable tasmad therefore yuddhasva fight bharata o descendant of bharata. Translation by Prabhupada. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. Please repeat. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. Please come. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming. With that, Hare Krishna. Please come. We'll try to understand these verses. Om Ajnanatamandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langete Girim Yatkrupatam Vande Sri Gurum Devatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Isram Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sandhu Bhayevacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं. श्री रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय. Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta ki jai. So we are discussing today chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized, verse number 17 and 18 especially. So very systematically Lord Krishna is presenting in this chapter one by one. There are 5 sections. Yeah, most likely will not need the book, but you can keep it. So Chapter 2, Krishna is saying basically once Arjuna surrendered to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna in 2.7, then Lord Krishna started speaking first time in Bhagavad Gita, instructing. He has spoken before in the second chapter beginning, after Arjuna was in a completely in lamentation, distressed condition, anxiety, he doesn't know what to do, whether to fight or renounce or go to, he was completely bewildered state. So at that time, where it is mentioned Arjuna's state is described by Sanjaya, that tam tata krupaya vishtam asru purna kulekshanam visidantam vidam vakyam buvacha madhusudana. Oh Madhusudana, oh killer of the Madhu demon, I am attacked by demon like the doubts. Don't know all the kinds of weakness I have. So please dispel this weakness from my heart. So tears are flowing down. He couldn't even stand. He was a wielder of Gandiva bow, but he couldn't even stand up on chariot. He sat down. So that was the situation this chapter begins with. Then further then Krishna chastises him as a friend. He doesn't instruct. So क्लैब्यम समागम प्रार्थन एतत्वयि उत्पद्यते क्षुद्रम हृदय दौर्बल्यम त्यक्तोत्तिष्ठ परन्तप. So how did this impotence has come upon you, weakness come upon you? You are coming from, you are supposed to be Aryan, civilized, self-realized, coming from Kshatriya, great dynasty. You're not supposed to act. This is not expected of you. So many times our boss, business or IT or whatever case may be, sometimes they give that feedback. Our business, some people may give feedback. This is not expected of you. So it goes further than it is. This is irresponsible behavior. Sometimes if it is worse, we get the minus feedback. But sometimes in the office also these things happen. Here also Lord Krishna is chastising as a friend, not as a spiritual master. That then Arjuna got a little courage. Then further he gave various further reasons not to fight. Went on almost till 2.6, and then he realized no more argument, no point of me arguing, giving reasons. I don't know where I'm going, and all the reasons are over now, so I don't know what to do. Then he surrendered at that point. Then Lord Krishna started instructing first time. So far we discussed from 11 to very systematic Lord Krishna describing till 16. Krishna laid out first about the body and soul. That is what, because he is identified with identity crisis was there with Arjuna. So he's wearing multiple hats as a friend, as a father, grandfather, son. So many different relationships he had with the opposite party within his own side, Pandava side also. His identity, so many illusions, so many thoughts were flowing in his mind. So he couldn't decipher it, what to do, how to work, how to act. So that's why Lord Krishna first speaking very chastised first few words. Basically, first he's using one the important words. Used his first words he's using 2.13, 2.11 and 12. If you see, is using Pandita, learned. First, you have to become learned. Don't theoretically speak. Don't speak the lower moral codes. You can't work on the lower level. This is you are a Kshatriya. You are supposed to know the higher philosophy, higher understanding. You are supposed to learn asochananda sochastam prajna, intelligent. Prajna vadansya agatasu gatasu nanu sochanti pandita. Because many times I mentioned, I think 2 days ago, people have these questions. As soon as they see devotees, Vaishnavas, they have these questions. Hey, these guys are not working. They are simply chanting, simply standing on the road, giving books, this, that. Do something practical. So, Shastra explains, here Krishna is explaining. Learn, Pandita, means act responsibly. Work according to the Shastra vision. Shastra yonitva, Shastra chakshu. Don't just work by seeing your material vision with blindness. See, whatever you see, that's what is the reality. Don't work like that. work through the ears. You have to see the world through the eye, through the ears of Shastra. Vision of Shastra is understood through the ears. So then you will become learned. So that's why it's chastising. You think you spoke like a learned, but actually you are not learned because you don't know the actually real duty is. What is actually real duty is? What is self-realization is? What will ultimately benefit you? That you didn't realize. So that is the first he chastised like that. Then further he went on. First, you have to understand that there is a change of body. The concept you have to understand there is change of body. It is not a question of you believe or not believe. Fire will burn. No, 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 I don't believe in God. No, it is not you believing it. And there is a state government, central government, there is law means law. It's not you believing or not. You must be theist or atheist, doesn't matter. It applies to everybody. Fire will burn. Same way, this also same thing. Here Krishna is explaining the change of body. You can't stop this change of body. You say that I'm going to go to forest. Still, the change of body for you, change of body for Bhishma, Drona, whoever you are seeing, you are identifying, you are getting stuck. All of them are going to change. You can't stop that. Dehi nosmin yata dehe kaumaram yapanam jara tada dehantara prapti dheras tatra namuhyate again. Word. That's why you have to pay attention to the words, important words used in these verses. Dhira. Dhira tatra namuhyate. Dhira means sober. Sober person will act you'll not use his senses. He'll not use his subtle body, mind, intelligence. He depends on the higher consciousness. We'll come to that. That's what is today's section. Krishna is speaking specifically that consciousness. He's talking about consciousness. He went beyond the previous verses step points. So he is speaking about the soberness. So change of body is going to happen, just like you have given up old clothes from so many times in your childhood, boyhood, youthhood, and whatnot, different ages. We all have given up. So you can't stop that. You are wearing new clothes. So what you should not worry. You should not. You should be sober, grave. Understand that that is temporary nature. You should not be bewildered, illusion, getting caught in that. Uh, you should not give up your duty, religious duty, or even regular duty. You should not give up at any time. So that is Dehi Nosmin Yata Dehe Kaumaram Yavanam Jara. That through, you will see in the when you go to Ratha Yatras, you will see that pictures, the small boy to old age. So that picture, so there you can see clearly. So that's what is happening with us. So then Krishna went further now. We want change of body. That is a concept. And use the terms like Pandita learned. Then use terms like sober, grave. Then further he went on. When the change of body is going to happen, what will, oh, I have a wrinkle here. Oh, my body is deteriorating. I'm not young anymore. Or whenever we have change, office, IT, business, wherever you see change, it doesn't, we can't hold. We can't hold. We have some different mentality comes up automatically. We can't stay put. We can't tolerate it. Change will do something in our heart, in our mind, in our intelligence. Same thing is happening here, Arjuna. So that's why Bhagavad Gita is a universal subject matter. It applies to each and every aspect, every sphere of life, whether you're a student or business or IT or not IT, homework, doesn't matter. In every sphere of life. But we have to look at the universal angle through the acharyas. Then these principles can be looked at various levels. So that Krishna is speaking here, the sober learned, then he's speaking next verse that matra sparsastu kaunteya Sitoshna Sukudokada Agama Payano Anityasa Tam Stitikshava Bharata. Now he's using Titikshava. But Matra Sparsastu Kaunteya, Sita, again, Kaunteya is bringing Kaunteya. That also I had mentioned previously before, few times. Why Arjuna is being called Kaunteya, O Bharata, O Kaunteya, hey Kaunteya. Again and again, repeatedly throughout Bhagavad, Krishna is calling, not any other name. Arjuna is not calling most of the times. He's calling these two only. Why? To inspire him to actually to connect him back, his grassroots. Your father, grandfather, your dynasty from Pandu, dynasty from Kunti Maharani never did like this. The way you are acting is not befitting at all. Mm. You have to remember what your grandfather, grandmother, they taught you, what kind of culture they have given you, and what kind of culture you are imbibing it. This is not befitting at all. So that's why Krishna is chastising here, is using, is inspiring actually. Is inspiring to come to act on that platform. So I gave example some other day that pilot. So when you enter into a flight, may not be bus and train, they don't introduce much. Flight is a longer journey and you pay more. So maybe for that reason, they introduce pilot, such and such pilot from such and such place and such experience and whatnot. They'll, oh, then pilot will be inspired because he has to drive a long way. He also need to be inspired. People get inspired like that. They introduce. It is to inspire people. They call the name. They tell about the experience. It is a, so this is the exchange because nobody sits idle. Everybody get bored. Everybody needs others. Everybody needs interaction. Talk about themselves or others. Something they have to discuss. So that is inspiration. Same way here also Krishna is calling out to Kaunteya or Bharata. He's remembering, revealing, or recollecting and reminding his duty through Kunti Maharani, through Pandu. That's why he's using Kunti. That's why Kaunteya is used repeatedly. So that's why we have to be inspired also. That's why when especially if we are initiated, spiritual master gives name for a specific reason. We have to perfect that name. We have to perfect that name. That means a lot is there in the name. It's not just simply spiritual master. They don't give just name, just like that. They have to. They think through a lot. They meditate on the acharyas. They meditate on the Lord. Then only they give name. So it's actually transformational results come on the day of initiation, and to the degree how you take that the transformation result will start, and to the degree we take, to that degree transformation results will be very quickly. Tat kshanat in Bhagavatam second verse it explains tat kshanat. To the, if one takes to the heart the message of the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, very quickly, irrevocable fact of Srimad Bhagavatam, Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is established in the heart. Lord will talk to us, communicate with us. It is a matter of surrender, matter of our submission to the Supreme Lord, to the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Follow the principles laid out in Bhagavad Gita. So now going back to that verse, Titikshava means tolerate. So because as you go through the any changes at your home, suddenly your job salary reduced or job you have to change, then it's going to be difficult for anybody because that is what we are stick to. That's what we did every day we are going through. So that's why he's telling tolerate. Very important principles. These things are. That's why Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, these things are to be practiced. That means we have to constantly hear, constantly in the association. It is not a one day thing. Millions of lifetimes we have taken, and suddenly one day, even for ordinary material education to 10th grade, to intermediate, to degree, we have to study a lot. To final exams, we have to study. Then only it will sink into then we can pass. Same way here, we are talking about our life of eternity, many lifetimes. How much we have to hear, how much we have to submissively read, hear, and practice. Then you can remember something. Otherwise, one day I hear and one day I read and then I go out and practice. No, we can't. It doesn't sink to the soul. It doesn't sink into our hearts. It doesn't work like that. It requires a lot of hearing, a lot of reading, and then some service. Then gradually it will sink in. Gradually we'll apply. Otherwise, it doesn't sink in, and you can't act. Actually, you can't practically realize it. So and then practical revelations will not come in the heart. That means faith won't be there because unless you put in practice, then realization will come. Krishna will give indications. Practically, something will happen in your life, and then you will see for yourself. Then your faith will increase. Until that point, you have no faith. You are hearing theory, but you don't have any faith whatsoever on Krishna or any God. Your father and mother told that there is a God. his name is this and he resides here and we have to chant, we have to do kirtan, but we have no faith whatsoever. Theoretically, we heard about it, but no faith because we haven't read, we haven't heard, we haven't practiced, put into practice, and we haven't. It is not revealing. Nothing is revealed in the heart by Lord. So then the faith is very weak. So that is the general problem in the beginning for most of the cases. So that's we have to work. We have to work. We have to do some work. A lot of work to be done on our part as a practitioner, as sadhaka. Now Krishna is going to the next step. So change of body is over. Tolerating is over. Now Krishna is going to next step. In the this is 11 to 12 is one 13 to 14. These are twins, like twin sets. 13 to 14. Now 15 to 16. So set is coming. Yam hina gatayanti ete purusham purushar sama dukkam sukham dhiram amrutatvaya kalpta. Is bringing amrutatva. Okay, whatever I am speaking, it is for actually to liberate. It is a permanent result, not temporary. Temporary result will come along with it. So, but we are talking about the permanent effect, permanent result, permanent benefit. Not only just this war, your whole life till your last breath, permanent benefit. If you do this, yam hina vyatayanti ete purusham purusharshava. Rushabha means expert. Purusharshava, expert of all the purushas, like Lord Rushabhadev, one of the incarnation. Purusharshava. How, what you have to do? If you want to become immortal, liberate yourself. Sama sukham dhiram. Happiness, distress. He already mentioned, he's giving example. And then why I should tolerate? Why I should tolerate this change of body, change of situations, change of scenarios in our life, in my life? Because it will lead to the permanent benefit. It will lead to the eternal life without any anxiety to the spiritual world. So that's why we have to tolerate. That's why, because we are waiting for the permanent benefit. Just like we give examples regularly. You get on bus, you get on train, you get on flight, longer duration. You tolerate because you know the destination. You are going to get down. Somebody is going to give trouble, seat problem, toilet problem, so many problems as you go through. Or some health problem, whatnot. We go through, but we tolerate it. We know, okay, what can be done. Another few more hours, I'll get home, and we tolerate it. But because you know the destination and you have heard these situations and examples of somebody is going, if you haven't gone first time you're going in a flight, also you have heard how the experience and what you'll have to do and all, so you have faith. But the problem with this process is process of Bhagavad Gita, process of self-realization. We haven't heard much, we haven't seen much, we haven't have any revelation in our heart, so that's why faith is weak. So we have little difficulty in taking up the process, a little difficulty in practicing it also, little difficulty in faith applying this. Is it reality? It does it? Is it really Bhagavad Gita Krishna spoke? So sometimes these things, does it really work? These questions will come, especially when difficulties come. Regular time it may make sense, but when really difficulty comes, then you'll question. Things will come into standstill. So that's it. Krishna is speaking here. Yam hina vyatayanti ete purusham purushar. So it is a question of faith. The change is always there, but we have to understand eternal goal. So that's the bus, train, or this change is there always. But you know the destination. Here also we know the destination. Krishna is telling throughout Bhagavad Gita, your destination is eternal. You will get to the destination, provided if you follow me, provided you follow in Arjuna's footsteps. Thank you for coming. Please come. Hare Krishna. Please come. And sit wherever you are comfortable. Sit in sofa. I think if you are comfortable, you can sit here. If not, you can sit in sofa. Be comfortable. And you can close the door also. Yeah. Yam hina gatayanti ete purusham purushashava suma dukkam sukham dhiram amrutatvaya kalpa. So if one follows the process laid out by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita in this chapter, one can easily attain the liberation while going through the current situation, current body, current family, whatever situation we are in. We'll get through that because we have to tolerate the change of body, change of situation in IT, non-IT, business, wherever we are. That will everybody has to go through, and we have to tolerate. Arjuna is also going through right now big crisis, complex crisis on war field. That means do or die. So we are not in that complex, but he's there. So that means the whatever scenario is applying to him, then it applies to everybody. So, then Krishna is going next. This is the 12, 11, 12, 13, 14, two sets, and then 15, 16. There is explaining the same aspect of this temporary nature of this body. Antavanta ano na asato bhavo na vidyate sata na abhavo vidyate sata. That's why he's giving today's verse. Two verses are connected to this verse. Krishna is speaking after that path of liberation. If you tolerate the change, uh, get through it, tolerate it, work through it, you will be all right. And then he's telling that the temporary body, there is no endurance. Body is going to change. There is no endurance. Don't fix on body uh, because we are having this gross body. So that's why yes, we have to maintain the body. But that doesn't mean that this is permanent. This is temporary. Currently, we got one body, but that is not all in all. So that is telling that there is no endurance for this gross body. Body is constantly changing from boyhood to youth to old age. Like the dress is, we are changing the dress, old dress, we are throwing it, and then we are wearing new dress. Like that, this body also changing. So there is no endurance. But for the soul, there is no change. It is fixed. It is eternal. So that's why he's telling, na abhavo vidyate sada. There is no change for sataha. It is eternal, soul. Since he has told no endurance and there is a change, there is no change for body and soul. Now he has to explain more. What are we talking about here? That's why today's section Krishna is speaking, especially how to act responsibly and how to be learned, act as a learned man, as Pandita. Today's verses Krishna is speaking. Antavanta, no, that is the 18th verse. 17th verse is, what is the beginning? Anasino aprame, no. What is the 17th verse? Yeah, avinasu tad vidhi, yena sarvam idam tatam. So Avinasu with the Krishna is telling Vinasa means destruction. Avinasa means it is not, it is indestructible. What is that? Yena sarvam idam tatam. Throughout the body something is pervaded. What is that? That is consciousness. So far he's talked about the body and especially change of body, tolerating it, be sober, be learned, work under the guidance of Shastra Chakshu. Don't just go through your eyes what they see, what you believe, what and you work. No. Through ears you see, understand and see through the eyes of the Shastra, means Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and work accordingly. Then you will be able to tolerate it if you practice like that. Then now in this case, Krishna is going further about the consciousness, because there are various types of consciousness. First, understand our jiva, our consciousness. Then we'll come to the God. There is a one level is consciousness, individual consciousness, and supra consciousness or super consciousness. Individual consciousness is of jiva, us, all living entities, whether animals or birds, beasts, whatever, all of them, all of us, has some kind of consciousness. That is also at different level, but it's still individual consciousness. But the Supreme Lord has super consciousness. So we'll explain that more, but first basic and we'll go step by step because it has you have to pay attention. If you are hearing first time, you may have difficulty in getting to know this. So that's why we'll go slowly. Individual consciousness, super consciousness, soul, jiva, and super soul, supreme Lord. That is first difference. Then come to the individual consciousness of jiva. Jiva has 3 or 4. You can say first one is bodily conscious. Sensual platform. That is the first level. What we are seeing, the gross body and its senses. That is the sensual consciousness, bodily conscious. That is gross body. Then we go to the next level. Then you have a mental consciousness or philosophical, quiet, Scientific, these are all at the mental platform, mind platform of the mind, consciousness of the mind. Then you go further one more step, intellectual consciousness, that is at the intelligence level. This is subtle body. The subtle body consists of mind, intelligence, ego. These three are considered as subtle body. You can't see it, doesn't mean it is not there. Everybody has it. Everybody has it. Because when the body finished, when we are changing the body, I'll explain. Srimad Bhagavatam clearly did it. No one, no scientist could understand even till today. But Srimad Bhagavatam gives everything because this is coming from the Supreme Lord. The explain how the body develops in the womb of a mother from beginning to end. What month, what happens? Such a crystal clearly explains how much, great detail it explains. So in this case, the body, the mental, mind's consciousness, the body conscious, sensual consciousness, then the mind's consciousness, and then the next level is the intellectual consciousness, that is the intelligence. Then the actual, the real soul consciousness. The soul is the one which is actually, we're talking about the eternal, the real consciousness is of the soul because it is pervaded everywhere throughout the body. So the soul operates through air, prana, especially. Everybody talks about prana vayu, 10 kinds of air. Soul is pervaded throughout the body, that is especially permeated through the life air. 10 kinds of air. The first is gross 5 air. If you go to temples of Ramanuja Sampradaya, where they do a lot of archana, worship of the deity, more than hearing and reading and other things, more archana, worshipping the deity is most important for them. So in that process, when they offer the bhoga or anything to the deities, they use these mantra. Om pranaya swaha, om zamanaya swaha, om apanaya swaha, om udanaya swaha. One more, I forget. The 5 kinds of air. These are the 5 kinds of air which are purifying. These 5 kinds of air are there, which is actually permeated through them. So these 5 kinds of air, if you talk yoga principle, these air has to be purified completely. Then you are liberated. Then you are perfected. And there is also another 5 kinds of air that is more subtle. These first 5 are more gross. The 5 subtle are Naga, Krokara, Devadatta, Dhanunjaya. So one more I forget again. There are 5 kinds of subtle air. This opening the eyes, the belching, so all that. So the 5 gross air, 5 subtle air. These 10 kinds of air, the soul's consciousness is going from the where it is, so where this consciousness is coming from? It is coming from the soul. And where is the soul? Soul is in the heart. And what is the size? Keshagra Satavaga Satada Kalpitasya. If you take the tip of the hair, if you divide into 1/10,000, that is the size of the soul. And that soul is situated in the heart, where super soul is also there. Super soul, that is the expansion of the Supreme Lord. So this is the understanding. So because Krishna is explaining, Indriyani Parani, our Indrivyam Param Manasastu Para Buddhe Parasastu Sa. The soul, the first is the Indriyani, the senses together with the gross body. The senses means our eyes, our nose, our tongue, touch, all these things, ears, these 5 Jnanendriyas. Karmendriyas, obviously, hands, legs, genitals, and anus, these things, mouth, 5. So 5 Karmendriya, 5 Jnanendriya. All these are gross senses. So this is the sensual platform, bodily platform. Then you go to subtle body, which you can't see. Like when you sleep, this also we talked so many times. When you sleep, gross body is lying down. Gross body is lying down. We don't know what's happening with the gross body. Subtle body, we are operating a subtle body. Gross body is sleeping. Subtle body, various dreams and all these things, this is operating on the subtle body. We are enjoying through subtle body when we sleep. During daytime, we enjoy through the gross body. So the gross, subtle. But we are not neither gross body nor subtle body. We are actually soul. So we are changing because this life we have got this body, last life some other body, next life some other body we'll get. Depending on what we want to do, then we'll get a permanent body. So that we have to decide. As per Bhagavad Gita or something else we want to follow. So then Krishna is telling here the consciousness. Yeah, that's what we are discussing. The individual consciousness which has these variations within us. And then the super consciousness. So now let's understand that little more. The individual consciousness is limited. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam yesterday, Bhadra Purnima, appearance of Srimad Bhagavatam, first day when Sukadeva was on to Parikshit Maharaj, that is the first day yesterday. That's Bhadra Purnima is very important, very auspicious. The first few verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, first verse speaks, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Janmadhyasya Yata Anvayad Etaratas Chardesha Abhigna Swarat. Abhigna and Swarat. Important word is Abhigna with connection to today's verse. Since we chanted, let me finish that verse. Abhigna Swarat. Tene Brahmardaya Adikavaye Muhyanti Yat Suraya. Tejo Varim Pradam Yata Vinimayo Atratra Sargo Amrit Damna Svena Sata Nirastra Kokam Satyam Param Dhimahi. Gayatri mantra is used. So Krishna is telling, I will not explain the verse, but the important word connected to today's verse is abhigna. Abhigna means fully cognizant, fully conscious. There is a super consciousness. How? Now, what is the difference? The individual consciousness, like we have this finger, we know this finger, to only limited. Actually, in finger, within the finger, what is there? When you take food, what exactly goes on? We don't know. But Krishna knows. Lord Vishnu, all these expansions. Lord knows. That's why he's Abhigna. Even though our body, we know what's going on in our body, but only limitedly. But Lord, directly or indirectly, he knows. Directly or indirectly, he knows exactly what's going on each and every living. Kshetragnam chapam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. We are called Kshetragna. The body is a field, and Agna means one who knows this body. We are Kshetragna. Sarva Kshetragna is all. Just like I know, if you pinch, we know the pains and pleasures only to myself. If I pinch my body, you will not get the pain and pleasure. Because you will not know what is going on in your body. I can only know what is going on in my body. So that's why it is only to limited extent I know about my body. I will not know about yours. But Lord will know each and every living entity. How many living entities are there? Scientists have no clue. They can count for their lifetimes, but they can't find it. But Shastra gives. So that's why we can't just because many times people believe, especially if we have studied, then we think scientists are correct. Scientists know better than Shastra. Scientists know better than the Vedic knowledge. But in reality, no, they don't know much. Many times they take the knowledge from Shastra and then try to prove something else. That we have to understand. So here Krishna is trying to tell us, how much we have to depend on the realized knowledge, revealed knowledge and realized knowledge. So we are discussing this verse, particular verse, about the soul, the consciousness, the individual consciousness, super consciousness. Lord knows Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata, each and everything going on in everybody. So Shastra explains, Padma Puran, Jalaja Navalakshani Stavarani Laksham Sati Krumayo Rudra Sankhayam Pasunam Dashalakshana. Exact count. Jalaja now 900,000. Jalaya aquatics. Those many types of aquatics are there. They can count their lifetime. They can't come to that. How is it? How exactly? Why it is? You can go on questioning lifetimes, but you can't come to any understanding because there is no possibility they can. They have to go through so many what they still they can't. How much they can go to. So that is exactly like that. Then after aquatics, then you have trees and plants. Jalaja Navalakshani Stavarani Laksham Sati. 2 lakhs of various types of trees. That also you can count. Then Krumayo Rudra Sankhayam, the insects and birds is I think 800,000. So no, 1100,000. Krumayo Rudra Sankhya. Rudra is Ekadas Rudra 1100,000. Krumayo Rudra Sankhya. So like that, there is exact number of these many species of life. And for Manusha also 400,000 types of human beings are there, like Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, Devatas. So various, they're all human beings, but higher and higher living entities. So some are lower also. Humans be human, but just look like us, but it not exactly the body is not made exactly like that. So different. But there are also human species. There are 400,000 types of. It is not a count of number of human beings. It's not a count of trees. It is not a count of aqua. It is a type of aquatics. It is a type of trees. It is a type of creepers. It is a type of insects. It is a type of human beings. Those many types of species is there. Exact count is given by the Vedic knowledge. So in Padma Puran, that verse is there. That is quoted. So the consciousness of all, what is going on in each and every species of all these species of life. There are 9 types of species. From aquatics to human, there are 9 types. All these total together, 8.4 million species. Total species, these many species is there, 8.4 million exactly. Not less, not more. Exact. Those many. Because Krishna has created, Lord has created, obviously Lord will know. If you have created, then we will know. If you haven't created, then you can scientifically go on, but you can't come up. You can't find it. So then, this is how we have to understand the individual consciousness, super consciousness. So today, Krishna is telling in today's first verse, is telling that there is no endurance as spoke, because the body will change, keep on changing. Our soul is eternal. I forget again, first line. Avinashu tat vidhi. Tad vidhi means we should know. Tat vidhi, we should know. Anasina, this anasina, indestructible. Which one? The soul. Ena sarvam idam tadam. The soul is pervaded throughout the body. It is not. You can't distract because you can't even see it. 1/10,000 tip out there. Even if you use microscope, you can't see it. It is so small, so teeny. And scientists can't even figure out. The soul is the one who's getting energy from where? Super soul. And soul's energy is passed in when you are eating. How the energy is distributed from heart, they know. But heart, how is it getting? Where the energy is coming? They don't know. It is not made of chemicals. Sometimes they come up with this theory also that okay, if it is chemicals and produce one body, there is another theory also. Man and woman come together, union, then you can produce. But then so many people are trying, then they can't produce children. Why? And can they explain? They can't explain. Because Shastra is explaining, Bhagavatam explaining that. It's a clear verse. Karmana daivan etrena jantor deho upavataye. Pravishta pravishta udram strinam purusham kana retashre. So karmana daivan etrena, under the divine supervision, living entities are taking birth. Living entity means soul. The spirit soul is entering into various bodies, especially entering into the womb of mother, based on the divine intervention, based on the karma he had done in the last life, he is entering into this life in a particular living species of a mother womb. It is not a soul is not the living entity is not produced by just union of a male and female. That is not the case. Otherwise, everybody would have, they don't need to endeavor so much to produce children. It is not just coming together. Soul is entering when the soul's karma is aligned with a particular family, particular place, particular country is aligned. Their karma balance is matching. Then they will enter. Then that soul will enter. So how much intricate? That's why it is karmana daivan etrena. It is not in our jurisdiction how this thing will happen, how the soul will enter, which body, which womb of mother is going to enter. That we have no idea, but it is happening through the divine supervision. Karna retashre. This is in Canto 3, one of the chapter. So I have a reference if somebody wants. Canto 3 Srimad Bhagavatam. Everything is detailed, So that's why we have to rely on who's giving the actual sound knowledge. If you go by scientists and somebody else, they themselves hasn't actually found out. They haven't. It is not revealed to them actually what is the reality. So those who are really learned or grounded, they know, like the Einstein or some only few they could realize actually, because some of they are humble. So that's why it is revealed to them what is the reality. They are not puffed up. So that's it. But those who are thinking that I am scholarly, I am great scientist, then they can go on, but it is not. It will not be revealed, because this knowledge is not revealed through scholarship, not by material strength, not by material intelligence, not by material beauty. This knowledge, transcendental knowledge, will never be revealed to any of these material world. It will only be revealed if we are submitting. If we are only submitting. Tadvidhi pranipatena. Pranipata means prakrushta rupena nipata. You are submitting to the Supreme Lord and is represented, then you understand. Otherwise, Bhagavad Gita, you in and out, you know the verses, you chant the verses, you recite the verses, you go on stage, you take pictures, everything. No use. It's only for awards. But real use means you have to know. You have to sink into your understanding of intelligence, then you have to apply it. Then that is the value of Bhagavad Gita. Then you have it revealed something. You got some revelation in our heart. Otherwise, it is not meaning much. Because Bhagavad Krishna is not telling Arjuna. Krishna and Arjuna spoke. How long they spoke? Only 45 minutes. It is their natural language, like we talk in our own language. That much fast, they would finish. Everybody is watching. 64 crores of people assembled. Krishna and Arjuna. No fighting going on. Just between them, they are conversing this. How much everybody is hearing, but not everybody is able to understand. See that? Because not everybody is submitted. They are watching. Doesn't mean they are submitted. They are simply watching. Only few could understand. Those who have submitted to the higher authority, they could understand. The Bhishma, Drona, Sanjaya, Vyasdev, those who are actually have some consciousness, they could understand. And that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, take prasadam, because what will prasadam will do? What will prasadam will do? Jadendriya tahikal. First problem is with this gross body. Too much absorption is there in the body. If you take prasad, then first it will clear out the too much absorption. Even ordinary material changes will go on in life. You will be able to absorb it properly. Otherwise, you can't withstand those changes also, even in a material platform. If you take prasad, it will help during those situations also. Jadendriya Taikal, Jivefale Vishay Sagre, Taram. So go to from first Mahaprasada Govinda, Namo Brahmana Vaishnava, Salpurnya Vatarajan, Viswaso Naivija. First Viswas we have to do. Viswas, we have to have faith. Viswas Sarira Avidya. Yeah, Sarira, gross body is filled with these senses. Avidya is there. Avidya means ignorance. The problem is with ignorance only. This topic, today's topic, is being discussed at Harvard University in 1969. So Prabhupada is directly discussing with students. So don't underestimate this Bhagavad Gita. Don't think that I am only speaking. This was spoken many, many years ago by Sri Prabhupada in great universities, Harvard University. I don't need to tell about Harvard University. You all know better than me. So there itself, Prabhupada was, there were challenging questions also. Prabhupada is able to address, understand, give the understanding, sound understanding. Because he has realized it. It's been revealed to him in the heart-to-heart connection from the previous Acharya and Supreme Lord. That's why he could answer, he could address. No one in the world you have seen any Acharya speaking the way Sri Prabhupada, especially in the Western audience. He started with Om Ajnana Timirandasya. He chanted all the pranam mantras of the previous 6 Goswamis, Acharyas. Have you seen anywhere? Any Acharya speaking to the Western, you have no clue about who God is, who Lord Krishna is. No clue of Vedanta, Vedic knowledge, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad. And he went on speaking for 15-20 minutes. Everybody is awestruck. And they have good questions about the Jesus Christ, the consciousness, the practicality. Because when the person is realized, Lord Krishna is carrying him, then everybody will be attracted, because it is Paramatma who is driving here. It is not individual agenda is driving. So Prabhupada is driven by Paramatma. So that's why he could people make people stand still, and they are able to understand to some extent if they are submissive. So that's why this knowledge has to be understood, has to be realized by our submission only. No other process, no other ways can work. It is not by scholarship. However, maybe PhDs, double PhDs also, we can't understand this knowledge. It has to be only through submission. Then only it can be revealed. Then only it can be understood. You can practice it. Otherwise, there is no way to practice it. So that's why here specifically is talking about consciousness. Through the change of body, you have to understand that for soul is eternal. It is not going to body finishes. Next verse, the 17-18, Krishna is speaking expertly. Antamanta ime deha nityasyokta saririna. So this body is going to finish. So Bhishma, Drona, all these bodies, even if you are not going to fight, go to forest, their body is going to become old. So even if you believe it or not believe what I'm speaking of self-realization, of the soul, of the consciousness, they are going to finish. Their body will finish, then they have to take next body. So that's why you have to understand what I'm speaking, and then you have to act. So Antavanta Medev Nityasyoktha Saririna Yuddhasya Bhar Tasmad. I forget third line. What is third line? Is telling you, so that's because body is going to end anyway, body is going to finish anyway, you must fight. Why you are giving up the duty? Body is changing constantly, and body is going to finish at some point of time because of the timing. So yeah, anasino aprameyasya. Anasya means destructible but indestructible. The body which is changing of the, because saririnaha means in that particular verse 18th, possessor of the body, proprietor of the body. Who is the proprietor? The soul. Minute soul leaves, no use this body. Gross body is at no use. Soul means a living force. So that's why I told that throughout the body, as soon as, so it is not a just by union, as I told. The soul is entering, it is based on a prarabdha karma, what we have done in the past life. Then we are taking certain type of body. How we look, how much opulence, bank balance, everything is destined, given exactly based on work. And if you don't utilize in this life, what is given, free will is there. But if you don't utilize it properly, you will finish all your pious credits. Next level you will have to again from scratch. You may have to suffer more because you don't have the actual credits to even enjoy, even to produce a children, even to get married, all these things. Sometimes people have this problem also. It is matter of question of pious credits. If you have pious credit, you'll be able to produce children. If you have pious credit, you'll be able to get married. All these things are based on credits. If you have it, then that's why you have to utilize. It's not that I have money, then I can buy whatever I want, I can enjoy luxuriously. Yes, people enjoy like that. But the once that is finished, then they can't enjoy. So that's why we have to carefully utilize what is being given. The free will is there to some extent, limitedly only, but we have to make a right, learn, intelligent choices. Today's topic, today's verses are telling that Krishna is telling Arjuna and all of us that make intelligent decisions in your life based on the consciousness. Don't just go by the whims of the body. Don't go by the whims of the mind, intellect, because it is going to give us problem. It is keep on changing. This is good, that is good, this is not good, that is not good, constantly changing and not satisfied with anything. That is going to happen throughout life. Whether old or young, doesn't matter. At each stage, this will happen. But if you rely on the consciousness of the soul, then you will be satisfied with whatever you have. And you will try to understand the higher nature, higher purpose, higher goal. Then whatever change may come, whatever difficulty may be there, then everything you will be able to get through it. Just like Pandavas. Pandavas are without changing the body. Pandavas, it is mentioned, Pandavas, Draupadi, Subhadra, same body, they perfected, they went back to Godhead exactly within the same body. They didn't even need to change the body because they have just operated, they used everything in the service of the Lord. On the consciousness they operated. That's why. It's a great difficulty they had to go through. Their father died early age, Pandu Maharaj. But they went through that because they submitted to Vyasdev, they submitted to Dhaumya, they submitted to all the acharyas. They just followed what they are instructing. Even though they themselves are learned, it's not that their Vedic culture was there, but they are always guided. Krishna was always there, obviously, also because they submitted to the previous acharyas. So Krishna is also very favorable. So Krishna gave his time also. So that's why these are very important verses. So when the soul is entering, as I was explaining that, karnar etastraya, the soul is entering to a male and then to the female womb, it is entering because of the prarabdha karma through the divine intervention. In the first month, something is put the, it is initially a pea and then becomes like a size of a ball. Then gradually, each month, certain bodily elements are being developed. So Again, another thing I forgot is everything can be replaced. Today's world, the bones are replaced, the blood is replaced, the lungs are replaced, the liver is replaced, the heart is replaced, but you can't replace the soul. The soul is gone, you can't replace. No one can bring somebody to alive. Narada Muni could do, other sages could do. Narada Muni brought soul back, living entity back. Maharaj Chitraketu, they blessed him. First of all, he didn't have any children. Then they gave blessing. They could produce one child out of so many queens. Then they became envious and they killed the child. They came back. Then they do. I have told you before. You wanted it. We told you in the beginning it will be happiness. Then later on will be distress, anxiety. See, that's what happened. So then they come and told, okay. So to give the lesson, then they revived him back to life. Then he woke up and then he spoke. He spoke. Which parents are you talking about? In this life or previous life? These parents are previous life. They are not my parents. In future, they are somebody else. So no, which one you are talking about? You want me to stay in this life, in this body only? So is that what you want me to do? Then they realize. Maharaj Chitraketu could understand. So these sages, Narada Muni and Parvata Muni, I think, they brought the soul back to alive, given that knowledge to their parents, even to the wives, Kruta Duty and other wives. Everybody got their transcendental lessons. Because imagine the dead person, their own child, coming back and giving the realized knowledge. Such a moment. Then they could come to their senses. Then obviously, then they let him go. In time, he attained the spiritual body. So then they realized the knowledge. So in that way, that's why this knowledge is the soul is going through the each and every month on certain bodily parts. Everything is replaceable, but soul cannot be replaced. So soul is operating based on how much time you have been given based on the prarabdha karma. There is certain breaths, certain period only you can live in this life. To that extent only we have. But if you perform Krishna consciousness and Krishna can extend it, that is up to him. How he utilizes, how he does it, that we don't need to know. It is inconceivable. Achincha kalure bhavat tam starkena yojayate. It is inconceivable for us. It is the divine intervention. It is but Krishna is telling. Karmani nirdahat kinchut bhakti bhajam govindam adi purusham tamam bhajam. All our karmas will be burned. Sinful activities, everything, if we are submitting. Like Arjuna's case, that's why he's repeatedly telling, I am instructing you, you fight. Don't give up this duty. Don't give up your religious duties because of the bodily attachment, bodily absorption. Because body is going to change anyway. So why you are so much attached to the body? Don't look for the temporary benefits. Come to the understanding of the soul. This is what is expected of you, coming from the Pandu, coming from Kunti Marani, coming from Aryan, coming from a Kshatriya. You are supposed to be intelligent, supposed to be smart, supposed to be sober, supposed to tolerate these changes of the body. So in this way, Krishna is repeatedly telling Arjuna in different ways throughout this section. This fight based on the knowledge. Fight with the knowledge. Don't just blindly go. Be act on the realized knowledge. Act on the transcendental knowledge. That's what Krishna is telling here to Arjuna. That soul is always the soul is never changing. Soul is eternal, but the body is changing, and body is going to finish. Body is temporary. So the Saririna means the proprietor of the body. Who is the proprietor of the soul? Because the soul is entering the womb, then the body is being formed, especially. So I'll go through that. Let me see, 8:10 already. Let me explain that scenario where each and everything is explained, the soul. So that we, Canto 3, chapter 31, verse number 5 onwards, where it is explained. It's a very interesting, fascinating the details. In the course of a month, a head is formed. At the end of 2 months, hands, feet, other limbs take shape. By the end of 3 months, the nails, fingers, toes, body hair, bones, skin appear. as do the organ of generation and other apertures in the body, namely the eyes, the nostril, the ears, the mouth, and anus. Within 4 months from the date of conception, the seven essential ingredients of the body, namely chyle, blood, flesh, fat, bone, marrow, semen, came into existence. And at the end of 5 months, hunger, thirst make themselves felt. At the end of 6 months, the fetus enclosed by the amniotic fluid begins to move on the right side of the abdomen. So we don't need to go to doctor and hear from them. These exact details are given here. 6th month, why the baby moves, this is why, because that is the natural step coming from the Supreme Lord, what it will do. Further, deriving the nutrition from the food and drink taken by the mother, the fetus grows and remains in that abominable residence of stool and urine, which is the breeding place of all kinds of worms. Beating again and again all over the body by the hungry worms in the abdomen itself, the child suffers terrible agony because of its tenderness. He thus becomes unconscious moment after moment because of the terrible condition. If I read that, then you will be unconscious. Okay, further. But it is explained here from the 6th month until especially when it goes from 7th month to 9th, 10th. So it is a very distressful condition. Is explained further. He prays with folded hands to the Supreme Lord, please take me out. I have done my mistakes and sinful acts and whatnot. Please take me out from this miserable condition. Because it's in the reverse. It's like the head and the legs, it is like a bow. It is not even straight. It's so packed up condition. And worms and biting and whatnot. Especially the pungent things shouldn't be taken. So it is even more increasing the pain. It is mentioned here. So that time that's why he's praying constantly to the Supreme Lord. Constantly. Please take me out. This lifetime I will listen and I will follow your instruction. But at the end of the 9th month, he will be pushed out without even his knowledge. He is pushed out by the airs naturally through the process. He comes out. As soon as he comes out, finished. Karanam, Gunasam, Sadha, Sadjanma. As soon as he comes out, because of the three modes of material nature, finish, he forgets. Whatever he prayed, whatever he did till in the womb, done. Everything is lost. He comes out because he's in the material world. Then he's in the realm of the ignorance, passion, and goodness. Whatever he has obtained from the last life, that's what he will go through. The subtle body is carrying. When the soul passes from this body, gross body, from this life, enter into the next life, it is mentioned there is no due. Only the 7 months. He is entering into another home. As soon as if he perfected, if he has perfected, purified, then he will enter into Vaikuntha without there's no anxiety, spiritual world. The soul will enter into, like if it is Pandava's case, if it is a special case, in the same body, within this material of same body, you will go in the same body to the spiritual world. But it's a rare case because you have to be really perfect. Most of the cases, if one is perfected, you will go from this material world. Still, there is some changes are there. So you will be taken through all these 7 layers, all these 14 planetary system and 7 layers, and then will be taken to another planet where Lord Krishna or one of the incarnates performing the pastimes. There we will be trained. We will be told what is our position, what is our form, eternal form, what is our rasa. Everything will be revealed, and we will be trained in that particular rasa, particular form. What we will be doing. Then after that, then we will enter into Vaikuntha. That is the general process. When we come to the perfection, that also it doesn't happen for everybody. Only if we have perfected this process of self-realization, as Bhagavad Gita Krishna explaining to Arjuna, then we will, while giving up, when we give up this body, we will enter into another planet where Krishna is performing, or other incarnations, depending on what rasa, what form, with which personality we have with Matsyavatar, Kurmavatar, Varaha, Narsimha, or Ramchandra, or Dwarka Krishna is Mathura Krishna, Jagannath, or Golok Vrindavan, Lord Krishna, Syam Sundar Krishna, depending on all that will be revealed much later when we come to that stage. That will be like if you go to PhD, then PhD maths will be taught. When you come to that level, it will not be taught at when you are in 10th grade. Same thing. This revelation will come when we come to that level by the spiritual master, by the sadhu, that will be revealed to us when we come to that level. So that is a general process. But in a special process, it will be like Pandavas, Draupadi, Subhadra, Maharani. They could attain the spiritual body within the same. They could be go to the spiritual world within the same body. So, Društva Sruta Mad Bhakta Anuchintaya. So many verses are there, repeatedly telling. But one must follow hearing and chanting and remembering. But Anuchintaya means in the association of devotees, practice it every day, regularly. Then, then you will get it. Then we will be able to perfect and go back. Just in this lifetime, whatever we have done, mountains of sinful activity, it doesn't matter. If we practice sincerely, seriously, submissively in this life, then we can. Even okay, even if you don't this life, if we continue, at least we will continue to the next life where we left off. This bank balance will never depleted. But ordinary material credits, it will be depleted. Like again, if next life you have to start from scratch, material education, same thing you have to go through next life also. Pious credits will be there, but that suffering and enjoying both will be there. Plus minus both are separate accounts. It is not. It doesn't nullify. People have this kind of idea also that if I do some 5 plus activity positive and 5 minus, and next life I'll because 5 I did good, 5 negative, so it will nullify. I'll enjoy. I will not need to suffer. No, 5 you have to enjoy. 5 you have to separately. It is separate accounts. Both you have to go through. But so that is ordinary pious credit, ordinary impious credit. But when it is Krishna conscious, it is above. Karman nirdhat, all our everything will be Krishna will make it zero. Bank balance zero. All this is ordinary karma. That will make Krishna will make it zero. And then we'll get actually spiritual credits. So that is the beauty of this process. Krishna is telling Arjuna that act smartly, act intelligently, don't caught up with the change of body, be sober, be learned, and be act on the platform of the consciousness, not on the bodily consciousness, not on the mind's consciousness, not on the intelligent consciousness of the soul, derived from the consciousness of the spirit, soul, super soul. The consciousness, the intelligence, everything has to be the spiritual strength, spiritual intelligence has to be derived by acting as per Krishna's instruction, derive it from the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna through the Acharya Parampara, like a tax collector. Tax collector will collect tax and give it to the government. Spiritual master is a transparent via media, like postman. He'll just collect it from us and give it to Krishna. He doesn't add or subtract. He'll just pass it on to Krishna. That is his job. Krishna is Jagat Guru. They're only representing for us he is Guru, but he is not thinking he is Guru. He is passing it to the previous Acharya. But they're all thinking they are disciples. They're all thinking Krishna is Jagat Guru. In this way, this line will go on to Srimad Radharani and Nityananda. They are giving it to, they are offering it to Krishna. So he is the Jagat Guru. For everybody, Krishna is the Guru in that sense. But somebody has to be living. Guru means he has to be living in person. So that's what we need. That's why he can guide, he can instruct, he can see what's going on in our life, what is situation, and he can correct us, he can chastise us, he can instruct us, as Krishna is personally doing, in person, face to face. Not in every case it may be face to, but at least he is living Guru is there when we are there. So instructing it through the mail, through the phone, or through his representatives, however. But still, he has to be in person. Guru cannot be who has left. You can't have that connection, Guru connection like that. Guru means he has to be living. So that's what Shastra is telling. So that is the instruction of today's verses. Let's take questions. I haven't finished it, but already 8:20. Let's see if any questions. Let me take anything on the Zoom. Anyone has any questions on the Zoom?
No, Prabhu.
Everything is clear. You can unmute yourself and ask if anyone has questions on the Zoom. Then we'll go to in person. Yes. No questions looks like okay. The Zoom.